Now, for South American football players, this year has been a scary time for their families. Violence has increased and the families of players are being targeted. Now, usually football is considered its very own religion in South America. People take football too seriously there and the greats of football are almost always considered gods. We've seen this with Argentine legend Diego Maradona and Brazil's superstar Pelé. South American fans gave them love like never seen before. But that was almost 2 decades ago. Things are a lot more different now and more on the unsafe side. And it's the families of players that are being honored, hounded in fact, and targeted. Because they are an easy and soft target. And it's happened with the biggest names and players in football, including Argentina's World Cup winning captain Lionel Messi, Brazil's ace striker Neymar, and Colombia's young talent Luis Diaz. Their families have been victims of gang violence and all of it happened this year alone. Imagine you're one of top most footballers in the world and your family members are unsafe. How do you continue playing? How do you ensure your family's safety and what do you do to curb such personal attacks?
Luis Diaz scoring not once but twice this week for Colombia as they beat Brazil 2-1, and he looked towards his father and both broke into tears. The tears were not so much for the win or the goals scored, it was the culmination of an ordeal that had torn the Diaz family. The tears were to symbolize that Diaz Sr. could actually see his son play football once again. Something that was bleak when on October 28th, armed men kidnapped the father and mother of Colombian footballer Luis Diaz. The incident took place in a small town called Barrancas in northern Colombia. After the incident, Luis Diaz was informed of the kidnapping by the Colombian government. A day later, Colombia's National Liberation Army took responsibility for the kidnapping. The group is an anti-government guerrilla force. They've been fighting against the government and their policies for decades, and Luis Diaz's family got caught in the crossfire. The guerrilla group were using Diaz's father as leverage against the government, a cheap trick which got international attention. After 3 weeks in captivity, Diaz's father was released by the Colombian National Army and was reunited with his family. It was an outpour of emotion, and once Luis Diaz was reunited with his father, he found his mojo back. And this is not a standalone case. In November, Brazilian forward Neymar's family members were targeted in the Brazilian city of Sao Paulo. Armed robbers broke into the home of Neymar's partner, Bruna Biancardi. The gunmen took Biancardi's parents hostage in what became an attempted kidnapping event. Brazilian police officials responded immediately and reached at the crime scene within minutes. They found Biancardi's parents bound and gagged. Luckily, Neymar's partner and their 1-year-old daughter were not at home. The suspects managed to escape as they stole luxury bags, watches and jewelry, all of which was valued over $100,000. Police officials launched a manhunt and nabbed one of the suspects. The 19-year-old confessed to the crime while the remaining 2 suspects are still at large. Neymar took to social media to talk about the attack but didn't get into details. It was a frightening attack on his family, and it was sheer luck that his infant daughter was not in the house when the armed robbery took place. Lionel Messi is a living legend in Argentina. After he led his country to World Cup victory in 2022, some even call him God. But despite his football achievements, Messi has indirectly been targeted by the mafia. In March this year, gunmen fired 14 shots at a local supermarket. The shop is owned and run by the family of Messi's wife. The armed men even left a handwritten message for the 8-time Ballon d'Or winner. Here's what the chilling message said.
Messi, we're waiting for you. Hafkin is a narco. He won't take care of you.
Now Pablo Hafkin is the mayor of Messi's hometown Rosario. After the incident, Hafkin added additional security members outside the supermart. The mayor said that local mafia goons were targeting Messi's family to gain clout. But Messi's wife and her family were unhappy with the incident. They said the shooting incident was concerning. Senior politicians stepped in and labeled it an act of terrorism by the mafia, and a strong crackdown on crime was announced. There have been no incidents since then. But this just goes to show that even the greatest football player on earth is susceptible to be targeted when the mafia wants it. We're not sure how many more such incidents will occur and how many more families of football players will be targeted. But it shows that there is a cost to fame which is coming in the form of fear.